Hi folks, this is Kim here from Fit to Drive. I just wanted to make a very short movie about the logbook and why you need to be fairly meticulous in filling it in correctly. Unfortunately, one of my students today turned up to do a booked test and the logbook was incomplete, it was incorrect, and it was a little bit sad. I still completed a 1 hour driving lesson with this particular person, but you will lose your test money if your logbook isn't filled in correctly. And had I gone into Vic Roads, there would have been a great deal of embarrassment for both of us. Myself as her instructor for letting her present with a logbook that was incomplete and incorrect, and also for her too. So things like this can end in tears, but they don't need to. It's a very, very simple little thing. So this is the beginning of the logbook, what you can and can't do in your logbook. Please make sure that you use blue or black pen. You don't white out anything. You start on a new line. All of this is actually explained in the logbook. If mums or dads are watching this, I think it's a really good idea that you let your son or your daughter or whoever it is that you're supervising fill in the logbook themselves. So please, folks, take a few minutes to be prepared correctly, and these sort of situations won't happen. Okay, so this is the read before starting in the logbook. It's on page 2 here. So I'm just going to scan across and give you a little bit more information about what it contains. Now, the list of supervising drivers. In Victoria, whoever actually takes you, the learner driver, out must record their details. Okay, so there's, for instance, if you have Aunt Maud. Aunt Maud can be supervising driver number 1. She needs to fill in her name, her telephone, her license number. If it's a driving instructor, I'd fill in my driving instructor authority, the signature and the date. Those signatures must match the signatures that are found in the book, okay? So, supervising driver number 2, I believe it's got space for 8 supervising drivers here. Just remember, whoever takes you out on a lesson must complete the supervising driver information: name, telephone, license, signature, and date. And it's best to do that on the first lesson rather than, wait and have to chase up a person that's put entries in your logbook, 50, 60, 70 hours down the track. Okay, so here is an example log. So, the logbook explains quite clearly what you need to do. The date of your lesson, the start and the finish, okay? How many hours and minutes that you do, it's cumulative, so it will actually add up. Nighttime hours, you must fill in how many nighttime hours. In Victoria, you are required to do 10 nighttime hours. Please make sure that you fill in your nighttime driving in the nighttime driving area here. The odometer reading, please don't use ditto marks or anything like that. Please also don't put in, for instance, a hyphen mark or a dash, I should say, for the start, and 43, meaning you've covered 43 kilometres. You can see here that you must record the start of your odometer reading and the finish of your odometer reading. Okay, so next up is your car registration number. Then you've got the traffic conditions, the weather, whether you've done parking, the type of road that you're on, light, whether it's, nighttime, daytime, dusk, the license number, and the signature. And again here, Vic Roads have spelt it out pretty clearly. There's a little explanation at the bottom of the page exactly how everything needs to be filled out. Having a nice, neat logbook just makes it a lot easier for the assessing officer to go through the logbook a little bit quicker rather than go over it inch by inch because, something looks a little bit suspect. So, here is where you would actually put in your driving. Okay, so this is the blank part for you to fill in. And if we keep going, okay, we'll go right to the end. This, unfortunately, and I'll just touch on this briefly as well. You will notice at the top of every page, folks, that you've got learner's name and permit number. Okay, so your name as the learner driver and your permit number needs to be filled in on every page. Prior to a test, if you're going to do a test with me, on the evening of the test, I'll send you a little text saying, please make sure that your logbook is filled in correctly and all the details are correct. it is not good if I have to sit there for 15 minutes and fill in, for instance, your name or the permit number, or worse still, find that something isn't signed. So just remember, everything's got to be signed off, all the entries, try to make them as neat as possible. If you've made a mistake, put a big line through it and start again on a fresh line. You've got plenty of space in this logbook. Okay, let's go a little bit further. And as you can see down here, serious penalties apply for false or misleading entries. So please don't try to fudge your logbooks, folks. If you get caught out, it's, I believe, 7 weeks before you can go for another test. Now, the other thing that unfortunately wasn't signed off this morning, and this is absolutely critical, okay, at the back of the book there is a section called Declaration of Learner Logbook Completion. This must be signed. Your driving instructor cannot sign the signature of the supervising driver. So you need to fill in your name as the learner driver, your learner permit number, your signature and the date, and across on the right, the name of the supervising driver. Now, this can be, you know, one of them. Generally, it's the person that you've done the most driving with, for instance, mum or dad. So contact number, license number, etc. Okay, so again, it's all clearly laid out. The signatures, again, must match the exact signatures that are recorded in the logbook as the person that's taken you out. Page 82 down here, we can see that there's a little checklist. Okay, so just to make sure that you've got all your I's dotted and all your T's crossed. So again, and that's a little bit for Vic Road. So although they, the assessing officers don't spend an hour checking your logbook, you know, make it easy for them, okay? Make sure that your entries, nice, clear, legible. Please, under no circumstances, use pencil or red pen. It is black biro or blue biro only. So, as you can see, supervising driver must sign every entry. So you can't have, for instance, ditto marks for the signature or ditto marks for the license. Just record everything as it's meant to be recorded. And on the morning of your test, when your instructor, myself or whoever it is that's taking you out, looks through your logbook, I do a pre-logbook check to make sure everything is up to date. Okay, make it easy for yourself, make it easy for your assessing officer, and make it easy for your driving instructor. Okay, so that's just a few little tips about your logbook. Take the time to go through it, read it. Okay, it'll make everything hassle-free on test day. This is Kim from Fit to Drive. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this brief video. Thank you.